In what was expected to be a triumphant rally in Detroit, Donald Trump found himself in the middle of a chaotic and lackluster evening. Once a master of commanding vast crowds and delivering provocative speeches, the former president now faces the unsettling reality that his rallies, once filled to the brim, are showing more empty seats than ever. The Detroit rally, anticipated as a grand display of Trump's continued influence, rapidly unraveled into a night of mishaps. From technical failures and low turnout to his trademark ire directed at nearly everyone around him, the evening exposed a new dimension of Trump's ongoing struggles to maintain his hold on the political stage. In this video, we delve into every misstep of that Detroit rally, from the visuals of rows upon rows of unoccupied seats, the frustration that visibly plagued Trump as his mic malfunctioned, and, finally, the now infamous rant where he threatened to sue anyone and everyone responsible for his tarnished, perfect image. Let's break down this disaster in Detroit and what it means for Trump as he seeks to reassert his influence over the Republican base. Trump's frustrated entrance and awkward start. The anticipation leading up to Trump's Detroit rally had been intense. Supporters and critics alike watched eagerly to see if the former president could still wield the crowd-pulling power that once defined his political ascendancy. But instead of an electric atmosphere, Trump walked onto a subdued stage. Where he once entered to roaring applause and chants, the reaction from the Detroit crowd seemed tepid, with some murmurs and faint claps punctuating what was otherwise an awkward silence. And then came the technical difficulties. Just moments into his speech, Trump's microphone sputtered and failed, creating a distracting, screeching feedback sound. At that point, the exasperated expression on Trump's face said it all. He was visibly infuriated. A perfectionist when it comes to stagecraft and optics, Trump immediately launched into complaints, demanding to know who was responsible for this mess. Aides and technicians rushed to fix the issue, but the malfunction had already broken the flow of his entrance. And for someone like Trump, who prides himself on his showmanship, this was an unforgivable start. Empty seats and a deflated crowd. Beyond the technical mishap, the visual of numerous empty seats was another blow to Trump's ego. Reports from both local and national media highlighted the stark attendance problem. Where Trump rallies once attracted thousands, spilling into overflow areas, this Detroit event displayed swathes of unoccupied chairs, a symbol of dwindling excitement for his message. The sparse crowd didn't go unnoticed by Trump himself. Known for his acute awareness of audience size, he made a passing, almost forced, joke about fake news trying to say we don't have a packed house. However, the irony was glaring. Photos circulated online almost immediately, exposing the rally's underwhelming attendance. For a man who once boasted of standing room-only gatherings and mocked his opponents for failing to fill venues, this was a humiliating moment. Inside sources reported that Trump blamed his team, citing poor promotion and a lack of coordination for the turnout. He allegedly erupted backstage, chastising campaign staff for what he saw as mismanagement and, according to a close source, fumed, "I don't pay you people to let this happen." A message of anger and repetition. As the night dragged on, Trump attempted to salvage the evening by doubling down on his usual talking points: grievances over his legal troubles, disdain for the Biden administration, and a barrage of conspiracy theories. Yet, without the energy of a lively crowd, his words felt tired and his rhetoric fell flat. For seasoned observers, the speech in Detroit felt recycled. Trump's rally speeches once captivated audiences by weaving a fresh mix of improvisation, humorous jabs, and audience participation. In Detroit, however, his words seemed more forced. He continued with familiar phrases about being the real victim of a witch hunt, yet the applause was noticeably sparse, and the enthusiasm appeared forced. Audience members reportedly shifted uncomfortably in their seats, with some even leaving before he had finished. One notable aspect of the night was Trump's barely concealed frustration with Fox News and other conservative media outlets, who he felt had not sufficiently covered his Detroit rally. He took several swipes, insinuating that the network was against him and claiming that true patriots know where to get their news. It was a telling sign of Trump's increasingly strained relationship with outlets that once championed his rise. The lawsuit threat. In true Trump fashion, the night ended with a combative monologue where he threatened legal action against everyone he felt was responsible for the night's fiasco. By the end of his speech, he was no longer merely complaining about the unfair media or Democrats. His ire extended to his own campaign aides, venue organizers, and anyone he deemed accountable for the rally's mishaps. He openly threatened to take legal action against the microphone manufacturer, saying, "These people should be ashamed for selling us such garbage equipment." He then went on a tirade about the people responsible for booking the venue, calling them incompetent amateurs and vowing to never forget this humiliation. Legal experts and political analysts alike were quick to point out that Trump's lawsuit threats are a common tactic, often used to intimidate and deflect blame. But to see him direct this anger so vehemently at his own team reveals a deeper level of disarray within his inner circle. Dwindling influence, or just a bump in the road. The Detroit disaster raises questions about Trump's hold over his base. A once unstoppable force who could rally tens of thousands with ease, Trump now finds himself facing a reality in which his audience is shrinking, and his message is no longer resonating with the same vigor. For his critics, this Detroit event is a sure sign that his influence is fading. The optics of empty seats, frustrated speeches, and lackluster applause signify a potential turning point in Trump's political career. Yet, Trump's loyalists insist that this was merely an isolated incident, a setback due to poor planning and sabotage from within. They argue that he remains as influential as ever and that the Detroit mishap will be forgotten once Trump finds his stride in future rallies. However, whether or not this optimism holds any weight remains to be seen. Trump's legacy in question. For a politician who once dominated the headlines and captivated the American public, the Detroit rally served as a stark reminder of the challenges he now faces. Trump's ability to captivate has weakened, with growing public fatigue around his repetitive rhetoric and endless grievances. His legacy, one built on his unmatched ability to energize and polarize, is now facing scrutiny as even his supporters begin to question whether he can still lead them with the same fervor as before. This Detroit disaster may not be the end of Trump's political journey, but it certainly marks a turning point. A reminder that charisma and spectacle have a shelf life, especially when paired with a message that grows stale. If Trump intends to continue his influence, he will need to rethink his approach and, perhaps, recapture the magic that once propelled him to the Oval Office. The Detroit rally could be seen as a wake-up call for Trump and his team. As the crowd thinned and the technical mishaps mounted, it became clear that the political landscape has shifted. What was once an unbeatable machine now appears to be faltering, with moments like these suggesting an uncertain future. While some see this as a mere bump in the road, others view it as an omen of Trump's declining influence, a symbol of a former president grasping to retain a grip that is gradually slipping away. For now, Trump's threat to sue and his unfiltered blame game strategy serve as a reminder of his tendency to deflect and redirect. However, in the broader context, Detroit may stand as a testament to the shifting sands beneath a political figure who, while not yet defeated, is undeniably confronting the challenges of a changing era.